The rain tapped softly against the windows of Liam's apartment while the city lights blurred outside like faded memories. It was 2:17 in the morning. Again, Liam sat on the edge of his bed staring at the floor, still wearing the same grey hoodie he had worn almost every day that week. Empty coffee cups covered the small table beside him. His phone screen glowed with unpaid bills, ignored messages, and another email that began with, "Unfortunately." He laughed quietly to himself, not because anything was funny, because sometimes pain reaches a point where laughing is easier than crying. A year ago, life looked completely different. Liam had a stable marketing job at a growing company downtown. He had plans, goals, savings, a girlfriend he thought he would marry someday. Every Sunday he attended church with his mother, who never failed to remind him, "God's timing is never late." And every time she said it, Liam would smile and roll his eyes. Now he would give anything to hear her say it one more time. Everything started changing the week his mother got sick. At first it seemed normal, just exhaustion, headaches, weakness. But within months, the hospital visits became more serious. Doctors spoke in careful tones. Family members started praying harder. Liam tried to stay strong. He drove her to appointments, cooked meals, sat beside her hospital bed pretending everything would be okay. But deep inside, fear was already growing. One evening, while golden sunset light filled the hospital room, his mother reached for his hand. "Liam," she whispered weakly. "Yeah, Mom." "If life ever gets dark, promise me you won't run from God." Liam swallowed hard. "Nothing's gonna happen to you." She smiled softly. "You don't know that. I'm serious, Mom. You're gonna be okay." But she only squeezed his hand gently and said, "God is still good, even when life isn't." 3 weeks later, she passed away, and something inside Liam broke with her. The funeral came and went like a blur. People hugged him. People cried. People told him, "She's in a better place." But none of it helped. When everyone left and the house became quiet again, grief hit him like a wave he couldn't escape. The silence was unbearable. No more morning Bible music from the kitchen. No more random phone calls asking if he had eaten. No more prayers spoken over him before work. Just silence and anger. A deep anger he didn't know what to do with. He stopped praying after that. At first accidentally, then intentionally. Church became difficult because every worship song reminded him of her. Every sermon about faith irritated him. Faith? For what? He watched other people smile and praise God while his own life felt like it had collapsed. Months later, things got worse. The company he worked for announced layoffs after losing a major client. Liam sat frozen in the office's boardroom as names were read from a list. His was one of them. Just like that, years of hard work disappeared in a 10-minute meeting. He packed his desk in silence while co-workers avoided eye contact. One of them patted his shoulder awkwardly. "Everything happens for a reason, bro." Liam nearly snapped. Instead, he forced a fake smile and walked away. Now unemployed and emotionally exhausted, he began isolating himself. Days blended together. Wake up late. Ignore calls. Send job applications. Get rejected. Repeat. His girlfriend Kayla tried to support him at first. "You don't have to carry this alone," she told him one evening. But Liam was changing. He became colder, quieter, short-tempered. Pain has a way of making people build walls even around those trying to love them. One night, Kayla finally sat across from him at the kitchen table and whispered, "I miss who you used to be." Liam stared down at his coffee. "I'm still me." "No," she said softly. "You're hurting, and you won't let anybody in anymore." A week later, she left. Not because she stopped loving him, because Liam stopped letting himself be loved. After that, darkness settled deeper into his life. The apartment became messy. Curtains stayed closed. He barely answered texts. Sometimes he would sit in complete silence for hours, replaying every loss in his mind. His mother, his career, his relationship, his faith. Gone. One evening his electricity briefly shut off because he forgot to pay the bill. As the apartment fell dark, something inside him collapsed completely. He slid down the wall onto the floor and buried his face in his hands. For the first time in months, he cried openly. Not polite tears, not quiet sadness. The kind of crying that comes from carrying too much for too long. "God," he whispered between tears. "Where were you?" No answer came, only silence. But somehow, after crying for nearly an hour, exhaustion finally pulled him into sleep on the living room floor. The next morning he woke up feeling empty. Not healed. Not better. Just tired. He threw on a hoodie and walked outside before sunrise. The cold morning air hit his face as he wandered aimlessly through quiet streets until he found a small coffee shop opening for the day. The smell of fresh coffee and warm bread filled the room. Liam ordered the cheapest thing on the menu and sat alone near the window. An older man sat nearby reading a worn Bible. After a few minutes, the man looked up and smiled kindly. "You look like you've been fighting invisible battles." Liam gave a dry laugh. "That obvious?" The man nodded gently. "Sometimes." Liam expected him to say something cliché, something annoying. Instead, the man simply asked, "You okay?" And strangely, Liam almost broke down again from those two words alone. Nobody had really asked him that in a long time. He looked away toward the window. "I don't know anymore." The older man closed his Bible carefully. "Mind if I share something with you?" Liam shrugged. "Sure." The man turned a few pages and read slowly. "Weeping may endure for a night, but joy comes in the morning." Liam recognized it vaguely. "That's from Psalms, right?" "Psalm 30, the man replied. Liam stared quietly at the table. "Doesn't feel like morning." The man smiled softly. "Sometimes the night lasts longer than we expected, but morning still comes." Something about those words stayed with Liam long after he left the coffee shop. That night he opened his Bible for the first time in nearly a year. Dust covered the cover. Inside he found handwritten notes from his mother in the margins. One note beside Psalm 30 simply read, "Hold on through the night. God always brings morning." Liam froze. Then tears filled his eyes again. But this time they felt different. Not hopeless tears, healing tears. Over the next few weeks, nothing changed overnight. Bills still existed. Grief still hurt. Job applications still got ignored sometimes. But slowly, Liam started changing. He woke up earlier, went on walks, prayed short, honest prayers, started attending church again, even if he sat in the back. Some days were still heavy. Some nights he still cried. But little by little, light returned. One afternoon, he got a call for a freelance marketing project. Then another. Then another. Months later, Liam found himself standing on a balcony overlooking the city at sunrise after finishing a major presentation for a new company that had hired him full-time. The sky glowed orange and gold as sunlight slowly pushed away the darkness. And suddenly he remembered the verse again. "Weeping may endure for a night, but joy comes in the morning." Liam smiled quietly, because now he understood. The verse never promised a life without pain. It promised that pain would not have the final word. The night had been real. The grief had been real. The loneliness had been real. But so was the morning. And for the first time in a long time, Liam finally believed it. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed the content, then please subscribe, like and share it with a friend.